I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off.
Nobody in the production team at The View was prepared for what went down that morning. It was supposed to be just another roundtable discussion, the usual predictable debate that would reinforce the show's narrative. There was no hint of anything out of the ordinary, but the moment Karoline Leavitt walked onto that set, everything changed. The audience was about to witness something no one could. Karoline's unexpected counterattack had foreseen a clash that would leave Whoopi Goldberg reeling and ultimately walking off the set. As Whoopi sat in her makeup chair that morning sipping her coffee, she felt like she had it all under control. This was her turf. After all, 4 years Whoopi had dominated the debate stage on The View, confidently dismantling conservative guests one after another. She had perfected the art of cutting off opponents before they could make their point, drowning them in applause and reinforcing her narrative. A seasoned pro, Whoopi believed that today's conservative guest would be no different. Karoline, however, had other plans. A rising star in conservative politics, she wasn't there to be anyone's punching bag. Just hours before stepping onto the set, she had received a warning: "They're going to set you up, be ready." But Karoline wasn't afraid. She had seen it all before: the ambushes, the condescending remarks, and the mockery. But unlike others, the tension builds, wasn't going to play defense. She was here to push back. The moment the cameras started rolling, Whoopi leaned forward, confident and ready to attack. "Let's be honest," she began. "Conservative media has been spreading a lot of misinformation. How do you defend that?" The audience erupted in applause, expecting Karoline to stumble, to struggle under the pressure. But instead, Karoline stayed calm. She didn't flinch. Instead, she let a brief silence hang in the air before delivering a counterattack that sent shock waves through the studio. "I think the bigger question is who gets to decide what's misinformation." Karoline's response was deliberate, razor-sharp, and unexpected. The applause quickly died down. Some of the co-hosts exchanged glances, realizing that this debate wasn't going the way they thought it would. Karoline wasn't backing down. She was taking control the moment Whoopi's opening attack had failed. She pivoted, trying to regain the upper hand. "Well, your side has spread plenty of misinformation too," Karoline fired back. Whoopi let out a nervous chuckle, but she could feel the shift in the energy. For the first time in years, she was losing her grip. She tried to regain control by criticizing conservative media, but Karoline wasn't rattled. She didn't take the bait. "You talk about misinformation, but your show has spread plenty of it," Karoline continued, her voice steady and unwavering. The silence in the room was deafening. Whoopi's fingers tensed against the table, but it was clear she wasn't in control anymore. In a last-ditch effort to regain dominance, Whoopi tries to regain control, went on the offensive, making it personal. "People like you are the reason this country is more divided than ever," she said, her voice sharp with frustration. "You push this fake persecution narrative, playing the victim, while your side silences anyone who disagrees." But Karoline wasn't intimidated. She simply responded, "I don't see it that way." The tension in the studio thickened as Whoopi grew increasingly agitated. Her words were faster, now more pointed. She tried to paint Karoline as part of a conservative machine that silences dissenting voices, but Karoline wasn't having it. With surgical precision, she responded, "You keep saying conservatives aren't silent, but every time one of us dares to challenge your narrative, you make sure we never get invited back." The studio fell into an uncomfortable silence. The audience, the co-hosts, and even the producers all felt the shift. Karoline wasn't just defending herself anymore. She was attacking the very platform that Whoopi had built, and Whoopi, for the first time in years, didn't know how to respond. "Tell me, Whoopi," Karoline continued, leaning forward ever so slightly, her voice calm but cutting. "When was the last time you had a real conservative sit at this table? One who wasn't here just to be ambushed? When was the last time one of them left without being interrupted or talked over?" The question hung in the air like an accusation, and for the first time in the entire debate, Whoopi had nothing to say. The tension was palpable. Whoopi's jaw tightened, and her fingers drummed nervously on the table. It was in that moment, with the entire studio, the personal attacks start holding its breath, that Whoopi knew the game had changed. She tried to shake it off, to dismiss the question, but she couldn't. The room was electric with anticipation, and the cameras were capturing every second of her discomfort. Karoline wasn't done, though. With a calm, collected expression, she turned the tables even further. You talk a lot about free speech and tolerance, Whoopi, but let's be honest for a second. When was the last time a conservative sat at this table without being mocked, ridiculed, or interrupted? How does that fit into your narrative of free speech? The question landed like a bombshell, and the silence that followed was deafening. Whoopi, visibly rattled, shifted in her seat. Her usual confident, dismissive attitude was gone. For the first time, it was clear Karoline was in control and Whoopi was cornered. The final blow came with Karoline's chillingly calm words. Maybe that's why fewer and fewer people take this show seriously anymore. Karoline's final question left Whoopi speechless. The entire studio gasped. This wasn't just a heated debate anymore. This was exposure. As the tension reached its peak, Whoopi Goldberg did the unthinkable. She stormed off the set, leaving Karoline sitting there poised and unflinching. The cameras caught every moment, and the footage quickly went viral within minutes. The clip was everywhere on Twitter. TikTok and YouTube were trending worldwide. The internet erupted. People were shocked not just at Whoopi's walk-off but at how completely Karoline had flipped the script. She didn't just win the debate. She exposed the hypocrisy and manipulation that had been taking place for years on The View. Whoopi's exit from the show wasn't just a personal loss, it was a public humiliation. The fallout was immediate. Conservative media outlets like Fox News and The Daily Wire played the footage on loop, calling it The View's biggest meltdown ever. Meanwhile, The View's social media team went silent, scrambling to control the damage, but the raw, unfiltered footage couldn't be spun. It was already out there, and millions of people had seen it with their own eyes. For the first time, the narrative that The View had worked so hard to build was Whoopi storms off the set in tatters. Whoopi Goldberg, the queen of debates, had lost control, and the internet wasn't about to let her forget it. Within hours, social media exploded with fans sharing their opinions and reactions. Here are just a few of the comments that flooded before. Karoline didn't back down, and that's exactly what we need more of in the media. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Whoopi lost control, or was this just a bad moment for her? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Social Media Reacts. The fallout begins so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. This is Celebrity Emotions, and we'll keep bringing you the most shocking and must-see moments.